Hi, and welcome to Year-End Online Fundraising 101 Success Tips for Small Nonprofits. The goal of this presentation is to present year-end online fundraising tips your nonprofit can apply to be more successful in the last 3 months of the year. Before we jump into that, here's the obligatory About Me slide so you'll know who you're listening to. My name is Ronald Pruitt. I'm the president and founder of For a Good Cause. I've been helping nonprofits build websites and raise money online for over 20 years. My company, For a Good Cause, is an effective and affordable online fundraising platform for small to mid-sized nonprofits. You can check us out at foragoodcause.com. I also want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this webinar, the Community Foundation for Northeast Georgia. The Community Foundation is partnering with myself on this webinar as part of their education programming to support the nonprofit community. The foundation is also a client of ours. You can check out the great work they are doing in Northeast Georgia by visiting them at cfneg.org. Thanks again to them. Let's jump into it. Let's start off by talking a little bit about why year-end online fundraising should be important to your nonprofit. This is the time of the year when you have the opportunity to raise the most money. This is the time of the year when donors are most open to giving. These are two of the most often shared stats to show that most giving happens at the end of the year. 1/3 of giving occurs in December, 12% occurs in the last 3 days of the year. We saw stats similar to these and not quite as high on our platform at the end of last year, with 16% of funds raised in December and 7.2% raised in the last week of the year. Still a significant percentage of your yearly totals. So donors are eager to give at year end. Why should you encourage online giving? First off, the techniques normally involved in online fundraising are very cost effective. You can send thousands of emails soliciting online gifts for pennies on the dollar compared to print campaigns. It is also more cost effective to process online donations versus processing checks or credit cards by hand. Heck, the donor is doing all the work for you. Being cost effective is especially important for small to mid-sized nonprofits that we talk to all the time. The big bottom line is that your donors want to give online. It's easy and convenient, even those donors that are receiving offline direct mail solicitations. In fact, 50% of millennials and Gen Xers say they've given online in response to a direct mail letter. This is not exclusive to younger donors. 10% of the online donors on our platform are over the age of 65. Online giving is the fastest growing segment of giving, increasing a whopping 23% in 2017, for example. And since it is all electronic, it is easy to track results. You can know how many potential donors opened your emails, clicked your donate links, visited your website, visited your donation page, and what marketing messages drove them there. Online giving is not a replacement for your offline solicitations, but is something that you want to encourage. Your simple goal for the last 3 months of the year is to drive as many potential donors to an easy way they can give online. Let's talk about what you need to do before you launch your year-end online fundraising campaign. From now until you launch in mid-November or so, you'll be planning, making decisions, and creating content. Hopefully you've already started doing that, although if you haven't, you are not alone. Over half of nonprofits don't start working on their year-end campaign until October. Consider this guide today a procrastinator's guide. Let's go through some of the decisions you need to make before you launch. You need to decide how much you hope to raise, how the money will be used. Will you raise money to go into the general fund of the organization, or do you want to earmark the year-end dollars for a particular program or fund? Are you targeting all your potential donors for this campaign or just a subset? Or are you creating segments that you want to target differently, such as small donors versus large donors, or monthly donors versus one-time donors? In general, the more you segment your appeals to different audiences, the better you'll do, but there are no right or wrong answers here. These are just decisions you need to make because you'll be communicating this type of information to donors during your campaign, helping them understand how their donation will benefit your mission and how they can help you meet your fundraising goal. Next, you need to decide the theme of your year-end campaign, the story you would tell to convince donors to give, your pitch, your fundraising appeal. This is never, we just need the money, of course, but instead it is a story of how a donation will impact the organization and the people, community, or mission you serve. How will a donation help to solve the problem your organization is tackling? The best way to craft this pitch is to tell a compelling and emotional story of one person, thing, or place. As an example, if you were a homeless shelter, you could craft a story of how you have helped one person get off the streets, and then relate that to how a donation of X dollars will help the next person. If you were an environmental charity, you might tell a story of one place, what that place means to the planet or community, and how a donation can save that place and others just like it. Start writing and gathering the content you need to make this pitch. That's images, stories, testimonials, so you can deploy this theme to your website, social media, emails, and direct mail, all the places you'll push people into giving online. In a bit, we'll talk about the ways to be successful with each channel. In your fundraising appeal, you'll be talking to donors about the impact they can have with their gift. One of the best ways to generate online donations is to incentivize donors with the possibility that their gift and the impact of that gift will be doubled with a matching gift from a major donor or other sponsor. This is where someone agrees to match an online gift with an equal gift of their own. This has been shown to have a big impact on giving. In fact, having a match in your campaign increases the likelihood of a gift by 22%. I recommend keeping it simple, setting a dollar and time limit. For example, that the major donor will match up to $10,000 in online gifts, and only if you give in the next 48 hours. This will create urgency and spur giving within that time frame. Deploy this match on critical days where it will make the biggest impact, like Giving Tuesday or on the last few days of the year. You can give credit to your matching donor or not, depending on whether they want to be anonymous or not. I'll talk a little bit later in the presentation about some of these critical days and the emails that you'll want to send out on those days. Before you launch, you'll need to decide what type of online campaign you'll be running. There are many different types of campaigns you can run at year end, many places and pages that you can push donors into. You'll want to choose the type of campaign or combination of campaigns you feel you can be the most successful with. Let's walk through some examples. The simplest thing you can do is drive donors to your donation page. You put the donor directly into making a gift. This is the type of campaign I would recommend most often for small nonprofits, as it is the easiest to execute and understand. This page will be linked from all over your website, but don't bother driving donors to your home page and asking them to find your donation page. Just link them directly from all your various communications. Make sure your donation page presents the theme of your campaign and is more than just a donation form. In a bit, we'll talk about what makes for a good donation page. Hint, it's not a PayPal checkout or a generic website form. This little example here is the Humane Society of Memphis. This was one of their many end of the year donation pages. I like this. The only thing I would recommend is focus more on the message, saving a life versus reducing your tax burden. Donors not really motivated by that, but they will be motivated by the opportunity, in this case, to save a life. A crowdfunding campaign is another year-end option for you. Instead of sending the donor directly to making their gift, you'll first push them to a landing page that shows them how the crowd is supporting your cause. You demonstrate this crowd by including elements on the page such as a giving thermometer, a list of donations made, or allowing comments from donors to be posted there. These social elements, these elements that prove that other people in the crowd are giving, are there to entice the donor, the next donor, to make their gift. Donors want to be the next in line to give, be the one that puts you over your goal. Donors will get excited by the campaign and then proceed to your donation page to make their gift. A lot of times these pages are great for campaigns where you have a defined dollar goal or that you're seeking, or you're fundraising for a specific project or program. In this example, this is Catawba College. This is a college in North Carolina that's having a very simple fundraiser here. They're raising money to put lights on the softball field. The donor comes into this page. They can see how close they are to the goal, who's given, and learn all about the campaign and click through to make their gift. All of these little elements tell the donor that, you know, I could be the 30th donation. I could be the next one to get them closer to their goal. So crowdfunding in this manner is an option for you. Sometimes to raise money online, you just need a little help from your friends. A little help from those that support you the most. I'm talking about peer-to-peer fundraising, sometimes called social fundraising or friend-to-friend fundraising. This is where your supporters have the ability to create their own fundraising pages that they then invite their friends and family to give through to support your nonprofit. The biggest benefit excuse me, for your organization to do this type of campaign is that your best supporters become your salespeople. This can lead to more donations. When donors are asked by their friends to give, they're twice as likely to give. You're building your donor base friend by friend. So who might be good candidates to be fundraisers for you? It really is any constituency you have that supports you. That could be board members, volunteers, event participants, donors, beneficiary, alumni. If you choose to take on this type of campaign at year end, you'll need to give your fundraisers a ton of support. That support means scripts on how to approach friends for gifts, education on the impact your nonprofit makes, sample emails to send to friends and family, and of course an easy way to build and manage a fundraising page to keep track of the progress. This example here, this is a board member campaign. Each board member had their own fundraising page that they then could share with friends and family. This is Neil's personal page. It has his personal goal and his story of why he's supporting this particular organization. So there's different types of campaigns that you can run, but choose the one type of campaign or combination of campaigns that you feel you can best execute. Most of the giving season, you'll send donors directly to your donation page, but maybe on Giving Tuesday, you might deploy a crowdfunding page because you're seeking to raise a specific amount for a specific project on that day. Or maybe you're segmenting your giving so that you're sending certain people to your donation page, but then you're having maybe a board member campaign like this where you're letting your board members talk to some of your major givers and encourage them to come back and give through the particular board member that they are associated with. Before you launch, you also need to get your website into shape. During year end, your donors are probably going to find their way to your website. They might be wanting to look you up before deciding to give, or maybe they've been drawn there by content they are interested in. Before you launch, it is a good idea to make sure your website is set up in a way that encourages online donations. For your website to prove your organization worthy of an online gift, your website must answer 3 basic questions. What is it that you do, or what problem is the community having, and how are you solving it? Second, if I give you money, what will be the impact of that donation? How specifically will you use my money? Third, okay, I'm convinced. You're a great organization. I want to give. Where do I click to give? How do I get to the donation page? This is a very simple concept of who, why, and where, but so many nonprofits are not following this simple model. In the 21 years or so that I've been helping nonprofits, working on websites with them and e-commerce with them, I've certainly seen a lot of websites that aren't following this model. These are typically websites with vague, flowery mission statements that don't give me a clue as to what the nonprofit actually does. These are websites that don't demonstrate any success or impact that the nonprofit has had, or they use cold, impersonal statistics to show how they have affected the community. And my biggest pet peeve are websites that have buried the links to donate online, or those that have donate links that go to frustrating donation pages. Okay, instead of dwelling on the negative, let's look at a site that's doing things right. This is the ASPCA, a charity my family gives to monthly. Now, I'm not showing you this one because they are a large charity. How big your organization is and how big your budget is for website design is not a factor in whether you can have a great website. A big organization can have a big crappy website, and a small charity can have a small successful one, without a doubt. I want to show you this example because of the content choices they are making. They are answering those simple questions that we posed before. Let's look at the sections of their site and what they are trying to solve. And actually, let's go live to it. There we go. First off, they define the key issues that they are trying to solve: animal homelessness and animal cruelty. They're setting up the problem in the community of what they're trying to solve and giving you background on why it's an important one to solve. Next, they explicitly define how they're tackling this problem with this Our Response section, showing you the work they're doing in animal rescue, animal placement, animal protection. In this section are stories of impact they are having, the work that they are doing. This is the stuff that induces gifts. They then show you how you can have an impact and then how you can help. See how simple 1, 2, 3 this is? In this section, they're outlining all the ways that you can give. I love that. You certainly would want a ways to give page on your website. And then let's say I go through all this and I'm convinced this is a great organization. Our final question we have is, where do I give? How do I give? And you'll see this big, bold, bright orange button to donate, which leads you directly into their donation page. Simple, easy, answering the simple questions and driving you into making a gift. One thing that I would also recommend is at year end, you see how the ASPCA is showing these images here and making a case for a donation and clicking to donate direct here from a little spotlight on the home page. You want to emulate that in year end. You want the first thing that people see in the last bit of the year here is a call for a donation. So in general, I want you to go back and audit your website and see how you measure up in answering these simple questions with simple answers of why donors should give to your nonprofit. Ultimately, no matter what type of campaign you deploy or how you built your website, you'll be driving donors into a way that they can give online. Make sure that donation page is ready before you launch. You need giving online to be easy and compelling. Otherwise, you'll see donors abandon their online gift, and there is a lot of that happening. In fact, only 18 out of 100 donors will complete a donation form. That's it. That's it. This is from a study, the M&R benchmark study done each year of some rather large nonprofits. And even those big charities with their big marketing teams and well thought out donation pages still see 82% of potential donors abandon that donation form, abandon their gift. The numbers are even bleaker for nonprofits using PayPal or some other generic checkout process that's not geared toward nonprofits. It's very important to understand this at year end. You'll have more activity during this time period. And the worse your page is, the more donations that you can lose. So what is it that we're working against? Why is there so much abandonment? The reasons donors don't complete your donation form, don't complete their gift, is really boiled down to 4 things: confusion, friction, distraction, and fear. What do I mean by this? Confusion is that the donation page doesn't reinforce why a gift should be made. It doesn't answer the question, why am I here again, and why should I give? They might have had a little bit of that when they clicked from somewhere to make the gift, but when they got to the donation page, it's lost. So they lose it. Friction is that the form is just too hard. There are too many fields, for example, or I will make a mistake and then the page can't help me correct it. Distraction is that there are too many exit ramps off this page, too many links asking me to leave, begging me to abandon the gift. Fear. Is the page secure? Who are the people behind this charity again? And will my money be wasted? Okay, again, let's flip to the positive side of things. I'm going to show you a donation page and point out how you can alleviate that confusion and distraction that typically exists with online giving. There's so many things I could focus on here, but I'll focus on a few elements: that the page is branded and that it tells a story. It's mobile friendly. It's isolated. It's an easy one-step process. It has a monthly giving option, which is important this time of year, and has a compelling thank you. Let's take a look. This is a demo version of a donation page from the Girl Scouts in Northeast Texas. This would be an example of a donation page that would link from a donate or donate now button from a nonprofit's website or any other communications that you're doing. Let's look at some of these elements. First off, this is a branded page that tells a story. You can see this page has the Girl Scout brand and tells a story of building courage and confidence and character in young girls. Studies have shown that branded donation pages raise 6 times more than non-branded pages. So you need your logo, colors, images, and branding. Not another company's branding, but yours. You need that on the donation page. You need to have point of sale content. Content right here at the point where they're going to make that final decision to give. You need a strong headline and a donation appeal that reinforces why a gift is needed. Too many nonprofits send donors to blank, generic forms with no marketing message, or to a checkout process like PayPal that is branded by a third-party company. Most potential online donors are just window shopping. They need more convincing. Your messaging will do that. Plus, from your email and social media postings, you should be sending donors directly here, not to your website, so that they then have to find their way here. Send them direct. Even better, a little advanced technique, have this page continue an impact story that you started in an email or letter or social media posting. Second big thing, mobile friendly. This page responds to any device, and no matter the size of that device, the donor should still get an easy giving experience. Over 45% of the traffic to our platform is on mobile devices, so there are going to be a lot of folks hitting this with their mobile phones. You want to make sure it's easy. Third, isolated. You'll notice there are no distracting links that want to take you off this page. Let's take a cue from Amazon.com on this one. Amazon has millions of product links available to you when you're shopping, but when it's time to check out, all that goes away. They want to keep you focused on completing your order. Do the same with your donation checkout process. Don't embed your form on your website with dozens of navigations and footer links to distract the donor. Focus them on completing the gift only. Next, it's an easy one-step form. Only ask for the information you need. This is typically contact info, the amount of the gift, and payment info. The easier your form, the more money that you'll raise. Another e-commerce example, when Expedia was just getting started, they shaved off one form field off their checkout process and earned an additional $12 million from doing that. Next, a big thing at this end of the year, you want to make monthly giving easy, so make sure that you have an option for a recurring monthly gift. You can even explain to donors what it means to do a monthly gift with you. Then the gift at the end of the year is lasting all of 2020. Next, we mentioned fear. You want to make sure that you're showing the donor that the page is secure. That can come from either an explicit statement, trust logos. You want to also want to show that there's real people behind the charity, so including contact information can help as well. Finally, let's not forget the thank you. Make a little sample gift here. This thank you screen should be as compelling as the form was easy. You, of course, should send an automatic email from a real person with a heartfelt thank you that reinforces why they gave. Then design a thank you screen that offers them more opportunity to support you, from sharing your website to acquiring a matching corporate gift. We got a ton of resources on our blog about donation page optimization. I encourage you to check that out. Now, before you launch, you should also understand how each of your marketing channels, direct mail, email, social media, should work together to encourage online gifts. All your channels are working to inform the donor on how and why they should give online. Don't work in silos with direct mail folks doing one thing, online doing another thing. No, have all your channels reinforce each other. You might drop an email and social media campaign right after direct mail letters go out, for example. Let's take a look at some tips to encourage online gifts from each channel. Direct mail. I know most of you will drop 1 to 2 letters or postcards this season. And while many direct mail campaigns come with a return envelope to send a check back, make sure to include a section in your mailing with a 1, 2, 3 process of how to save a stamp and go online. Make sure those steps include a short URL to your website or donation page. You could also use a texting campaign to draw users to your donation page from your print material. Remember also, we talked earlier that the theme of your year-end campaign will be a story of impact. You can start that story in a mailing and encourage people to view the rest online via a link that will lead them to an online video, landing page, or donation page. Create suspense and curiosity to draw them into a place that they can give online. Remember our stats before. Direct mail donors want to give online because it's easy and convenient. Make it obvious for them on how to do that. If you do nothing else, make sure your letters or response cards prominently mention where to go online to make a gift. Social media. Most of what you do on social media in year end will be to reinforce why your work is important and the impact you are having, reinforcing that theme of your year-end campaign. You don't want the only messages they get from you on social media this time of year to be fundraising pitches. You want to encourage your online donors with content on social media that reinforces that you appreciate them and that you are having an impact with their dollars, showing them that they can make a difference by supporting you. You'll want 80 to 90% of your postings to be this type: stories of impact, why I gave stories from donors, thank you postings, and links to articles and videos about the work you're doing. 10 to 20% of the time, you will explicitly ask for a donation or update donors on a fundraising campaign through social media. Bring these types of messages out on critical days like Giving Tuesday or the last days of the year. I'll talk later in the presentation about some of those critical days. You typically want to publish multiple times per week on social media, once or twice a week on Facebook, at least once or twice a day on Twitter, for example. Use the social media networks you are most comfortable with. You don't have to be on all of them. Be where your donors are. Here are a few examples that show the type of messaging I'm talking about. The New York Humane Society has a Pinterest board that shows the impact of their program, dogs that have been adopted. Lower right here, this is a video testimonial from a foster parent that works with the Wellroot Family Services. It's here in Georgia. It's a great way to showcase the impact of that nonprofit and that it's having on supporting foster children and foster families. And above that, a call for a donation, a tweet from Save the Manatees on December 31st. That's the kind of day you want to bring out that direct ask on social media. So we mentioned direct mail, social media. Email is one of the biggest drivers of online gifts, especially at this time of year. You can see here generating 28% of all online revenue for nonprofits in 2017. The one thing I stress to nonprofits is that they should not be afraid to send email. If you look at this, this stat here, the average number of messages sent in 2017 is more than one email per week. In general, send more email than you think you should. If your messages are valuable, then they are not spam. Most of the email that you'll send at year-end will be fundraising emails, so let's go over 3 qualities of a great fundraising email so that you can be a little more successful with the messages that you're sending out. First up, employ emotional storytelling. There are 2 things here. One, telling a story of impact, a story of someone or something you've helped or will help with a donor's support. The second part is the emotional part. You want to tug at the donor's heartstrings to entice the gift. This is a good example here on the right. This is a Humane Society in Memphis. I love their email fundraising. They have an interesting method. For each animal that comes into the shelter, they write up a story about that animal. That story goes into an email solicitation asking donors to support that animal's journey to recovery. They even build a special donation page for each animal so you can track the success of that particular campaign. I certainly think you could build special donation pages specifically for year-end or specifically for each email that you send out at year-end so you can track the results of that particular marketing. Now, employing emotional storytelling doesn't always mean sad stories like these. It can also be happy stories about the positive impact you're having on your community. Your goal is just to connect emotionally with your audience. The second good email practice is don't stress about design. In fact, the less you worry about it, the better. The simpler your email, the better chance it has to get delivered. You might send an email that is mostly text with one image that represents the work you do. In this example, the Buyout Foundation, which does humanitarian work in Afghanistan, is sending a simple message from their director with one image and a simple link to give. Your message is always more important than your design. Third, have a single clear call to action. Your email fundraising will not work if your donate link is buried at the end of your regular monthly email newsletter. You don't want potential donors to have multiple places to click from your email. Your goal is an online gift, not a volunteer submission or learning about your board or anything else. The emails you send for year-end fundraising should be focused only on telling your fundraising story and explicitly asking for a gift. The only call to action is to click a button. That button should take you directly to the donation page to make a gift. This is a good example from the David Brower Center in California. I love this simple email with a simple message and one call to action. A clear and easy to see Donate Now button. Okay, now we're going to launch your year-end campaign, and we're going to talk a little bit about the timeline, and we're going to use emails as our focus for that timeline. I'm going to go over some key dates, and keep in mind as I go through this that you're also posting social media messages that reinforce these emails. You're trying to coincide these emails with direct mail pieces that you're sending out. So everything I've talked about before, that's going to go along this same timeline, and you're posting things that are going to complement the messages that I'm going to talk about here. Most nonprofits are launching their year-end email campaign with an email on Thanksgiving or right before. This is a great opportunity to embrace the holiday and say thanks to donors for their support. As you are saying thank you, you can kind of set up the stories of impact, the theme of your year-end campaign, explaining to donors how they've helped you have that impact by the giving that they've done to you all year long. This is not an email where I would go ahead and start asking for a gift. I would let this suffice as a thank you only. Here's an example, a simple thank you email from the St. Louis Food Bank, wishing happy Thanksgiving and talking about the impact that donors have had on this nonprofit throughout the year. Giving Tuesday. This is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It has been around for a few years now. Millions of dollars are raised each year on Giving Tuesday now, and it is seen as a day to celebrate giving and the work of nonprofits. This year it will be on December 3rd. If you choose to use this day for fundraising, I would suggest sending 2 to 3 emails. First, introducing what Giving Tuesday is, how you are participating in it, what you are raising money for, and how a donation will impact the organization. Second, you might send a follow email reinforcing that message of why a gift is needed and again asking for a gift. Use your last email to again reinforce that message again and update on how close you are to your goal. Ask for that gift to help you get over the top for that particular day. You can send your emails all in one day, morning, midday, evening, or send that first one prior, reminding that Giving Tuesday is coming and discussing how you'll be participating. This is a good day to bring out your matching gift from your major donor. This is also a good day to fundraise for a specific goal or for a specific project. You can kind of use the time limit, the urgency that it is a single day to say, on this day, we're fundraising for X dollars for program Y. A simple message for one thing is a good idea on Giving Tuesday. I also want to mention there is a new counter idea that is growing in popularity. Not fundraising on Giving Tuesday, but instead using this day as a celebration of your current donors, or having everyone come together in person for a celebration or maybe a volunteer project. For example, a Keep the City Beautiful nonprofit might have a free tree planting day on Giving Tuesday. If you choose this route, you'll send an email prior to Giving Tuesday inviting folks to participate and explaining why you're celebrating Giving Tuesday this way. You can also follow up after Giving Tuesday with an email showing highlights from the event. So 2 ways to go there, both involve some email that you're going to be sending out. Here's a Giving Tuesday email from one of my favorite charities, the Wildlife Conservation Society. They're doing fundraising. They're letting you know that it's Giving Tuesday, why your gift is needed, and they're creating urgency on that day with a matching gift opportunity. So the generous donor will match up to $25,000 in online gift. Expires at midnight. In the first half of December, you are reminding your donors that the end of the year is coming and why you need their support. You're starting to create urgency by talking about the impending end of the year deadline, and you're continuing your storytelling about why a gift is needed. You can send a couple of emails during this time period, and you don't have to make an ask for a gift in each one. I might do one that asks for a gift, one that does not. One could focus on your accomplishments. What did you do this year? How did you have an impact with the dollars? Another one, you could talk about what's upcoming, what's coming in 2020. What do you hope to accomplish, and how will donations help you get there? And again, focus on the impact that a donation is going to have, not the fact that you're going to get a tax deduction. A lot of the tax law changes that have come recently have made that less important. They can actually remind a donor that, oh boy, I need to bulk all my donations in 1 year, so maybe I should skip this year and do it all next year. Focus on the impact a donation is going to have, not tax deductibility. If end of the year holidays like Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa are important to your organization or important to your donors, you may want to send an email acknowledging this importance and how the values of that holiday match the values of your organization. You might share a story or video from your blog about what the holiday means to your nonprofit. And of course, wish your donors well in this season and thanking them for their continued support. I don't see this as a time to explicitly ask for a gift. There are some nonprofits that will, in this type of email, they might have a passive donate link or button at the bottom of this email, but it's not a time that you're going to explicitly ask for a gift. This is a time to focus on the thank you and what this holiday means to you and your supporters. An example, Humane Society of Memphis again, they've sent a link to a humorous video celebrating Christmas with a "'Twas the Night Before" story that reinforces the love that they have for the animals in their care, demonstrating the impact that they're making every single day. December 29th and 30th, in the last days of December, you are making your final push for donations. You'll send an email, one on the 29th, one on the 30th. Both will explicitly ask for a gift. These are good days to deploy your matching gift opportunity because you've got that limited window till the end of the year. You can say, hey, our donor will match your gifts from now until midnight on 12/31. An idea for these emails focuses on the challenges you face and how donors are going to help you meet them in the coming year. As an example, Boston Trinity Academy, it's a private school in the Northeast. In their one of their final emails of the year, they combined a story of impact, a story about Miss Gomez here, and the impact that the Academy had on her life. They combined that with a matching gift opportunity. Can't see all the email here. It goes on. There's actually a lot more about Miss Gomez and talks a little bit about the matching gift opportunity. I like that they put this give by 12/31. That small little phrase puts urgency in the mind of the donor that this is the time to give. Speaking of 12/31, this is the biggest online fundraising day of the whole year. It's bigger than Giving Tuesday. For this day, I recommend sending at least 2 emails, one in the AM, one in the PM. Explicitly ask for a gift in both. Use the urgency of the year ticking down to encourage a gift. Use terms like last chance in your subject line or in the body of the emails that you send out. You might use a phrase like last chance in 2019 to help others like Jane, which then would lead into an impact story about Jane and how your organization is helping her. If you had an overall goal for your year-end fundraising, you can note that as well. This again is another good day to deploy your matching gift opportunity. An example, this is an email from the Lansu Chinese Garden, a great place to visit in Portland, emphasizing how many hours are left in the year, what their goal is, and why a gift is needed. Simple, very simple. Just text, an image, a button. Simple message, simple email. You do not have to get complicated with the emails that you send out at year end or really any time of the year. And if we're talking email, we can't forget January. We can't forget to say thank you to donors. While your donation page should be sending out automatic thank you emails for every gift, I suggest sending a broadcast email early in January to everyone that gave. You can say thanks. You can let them know that you hit your goal, and because of them, you'll be able to accomplish X, Y, and Z in 2020. Reinforce the decision they made to give. This broadcast email is not a replacement for personal thank yous. You'll also make emails, phone calls, letters. This is something in addition. This broadcast email, I would not ask for a gift in this one. I would keep it focused on the thank you, if I had to mention that. Our last success tip today is to track your results and keep refining what you are doing. I would suggest you track 3 basic metrics that relate to online giving: traffic, how many people are visiting your website and donation pages during year end. Tools like Google Analytics can help you with that. Conversion rates, how many people opened your emails, clicked the link, completed your donation versus the number you were targeting in your list. And average gift size for one-time and or monthly gifts. You can work on your gift size and conversion rates by constantly refining your donation appeal. What marketing led to higher gift sizes? What led to better conversion rates? I just want you to keep experimenting. You can make changes, certainly between Giving Tuesday and the end of the year. If you find something is not working, you can refine your message. One last thing before we close out the presentation is I've gone over a ton of things here today. Don't be overwhelmed. Focus on creating a great heartfelt theme for your year end, and donors will respond. Yeah, the technology is important. You've got to have a website that's easy to use. You got to have a donation page that's easy to use. You got to be employing social media to get them there, email to get them there, direct mail to get them there. But the core message, why they should give, is always going to be more important than the technology. So go out there and build a great message. I encourage you to check out our blog for further reading on year-end online fundraising. It's forgoodcause.com/blog. There's a ton of resources there for you. And please reach out to us. Let us know questions you have from this presentation. What did you hope to learn that I didn't go over? What can I go into more detail for you? You can find us at forgoodcause.com. You can shoot an email to info@forgoodcause.com, or if you just want to have a chat, you can call me at 770-517-5962. Thank you so much for taking a little time out of your day to watch this presentation. We'll see you soon.